You don't belong here. The words cracked through the cabin like thunder. Every head in row 2 turned. The man who said it, a tall passenger in a pale gray blazer, stood over seat 2A, his hand gripping the headrest like he owned it. The woman sitting there didn't flinch. She looked up, calm and unbothered, her stillness louder than his outrage. The flight attendant hesitated in the aisle, eyes darting between them. The captain, standing near the cockpit door, watched with the kind of authority that too often assumed guilt before truth. "This seat isn't yours," the man repeated, his voice swelling with certainty. The woman's boarding pass sat neatly on the tray table beside a pair of reading glasses. "It is," she said evenly. Before anyone could move, the man scoffed. "Oh, come on. You people always think you deserve first class." Gasps rippled through the cabin. Some passengers looked away. Others started recording. The woman didn't blink. "Check the manifest," she said quietly. The captain stepped forward, jaw tight. "Ma'am, please move to the back so we can take off." "I'm not moving," she replied. "Not until you verify your facts." The man smirked. "We don't need to verify anything. We can see." The captain sighed. "Let's resolve this peacefully." "Peacefully?" she echoed, eyes lifting to meet his. "You mean quietly." Her name was Dr. Clara Bennett. At 39, she'd faced this tone too many times to count, the polished version of disrespect that dressed itself as procedure. "I will remain seated," she said, "until your system confirms what you're afraid to believe." The captain nodded to a young attendant. "Reconfirm seat 2A." She hurried off, whispering into her tablet. The cabin fell into uneasy silence. Then came a soft voice from behind. "This doesn't feel right." Clara's calm drew the room tighter. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't plead. Her strength came from precision. The attendant returned, hesitant. "Captain, the manifest shows 2A under Dr. Clara Bennett." He frowned. "That can't be right. Double check." Clara exhaled. "That's what you call it every time, isn't it? A glitch. A system error." The man beside her chuckled, low and cruel. "You people love making everything about race." A passenger in row 3 spoke up. "Enough." But he didn't stand. The attendant disappeared again, then returned, palms sweating. "Captain, it's confirmed. Dr. Bennett's name is on every record." The captain's jaw tightened. Then the system double-booked. "Move her anyway." "No," came a voice from behind. "You can't do that." The woman holding her phone finally spoke. "You're treating her like she doesn't belong, and everyone here sees it." The tension snapped. Silence flooded in. Clara folded her hands, gaze steady. "You want it quiet," she said. "Now the world is watching." The captain shifted, his posture unraveling. "We'll handle this after takeoff." "You'll handle it now," Clara said, her tone surgical. "Because when truth waits, dignity bleeds." The attendant's tablet beeped. She glanced down, eyes wide. "Sir, operations is asking why you're questioning an executive manifest." The word executive froze him. "What did you say?" Clara reached for her phone, pressed a button, and placed it on the tray. "You can verify, or I can." The captain's radio crackled. "Flight 815, hold position. You are addressing Dr. Clara Bennett, co-founder and board chair of Horizon Aviation Group. Full compliance required." The cabin went still. The man in the blazer went pale. The captain's voice caught. "Dr. Bennett, I didn't realize." She cut him off. "You realized exactly what you wanted to." Phones lifted higher. The engines hummed low beneath the floor, the sound of exposure replacing authority. The attendant swallowed hard. "Dr. Bennett, I'm so sorry." "Don't apologize for watching," Clara said. "Apologize for staying quiet." Every word landed like judgment. The captain adjusted his cap, eyes darting toward the cockpit. "We'll need to confirm with." Clara tapped her screen again. A soft tone filled the cabin. "Protocol 7 initiated," a mechanical voice said. "Incident under executive review. All cabin audio and video now monitored." The color drained from his face. "You turned this into a scene," he said. Clara met his stare. "No," she said softly. "You did. I just turned on the lights." The cabin lights dimmed to recording mode. A murmur spread through the passengers, some stunned, some ashamed. The captain's radio beeped again. "Captain Reynolds, flight grounded pending investigation." The man in the gray blazer scoffed. "So what now? Do we all apologize?" Clara looked at him, unblinking. "No," she said. "You learn." The engines powered down. The runway lights blinked against the window, rhythmic and slow, as silence reclaimed the cabin, a silence that no one mistook for peace. "You can't ground an entire flight because your feelings are hurt," Captain Reynolds said, his tone caught somewhere between disbelief and authority. Dr. Clara Bennett looked at him, her voice calm, but sharper than any command he'd ever given. "I can ground a flight for prejudice disguised as protocol." The silence that followed was so complete it made the engines sound louder. Her words didn't shout, they landed. They stayed. Reynolds shifted, his authority wobbling under the weight of exposure. "Dr. Bennett," he managed, "what exactly do you want from us?" Clara leaned forward, her tone surgical. "Acknowledgement, accountability, and silence while I secure this aircraft." Her phone buzzed on the tray table. "Corporate security engaged," said a steady automated voice. "All communications recorded. Crew review initiated." The attendants froze. Sophie Turner, the youngest, looked pale but oddly relieved. "She just froze the whole flight," she whispered. Clara closed her eyes for a moment, gathering breath, not anger. She thought of being 16, told by a teacher to leave an honors class because she must be lost. Different walls, same disbelief. Only the ceilings had changed. When she opened her eyes, her voice was steady and universal. "Every time you tell someone they don't belong, you train the world to forget its own humanity." The cabin air grew dense, heavy not from heat, but from truth pressing against pretense. No one dared to move. The captain's radio crackled. "Flight 417. This is Horizon Operations Command. Hold position. Ground inspection inbound. All data streams active." Everyone heard it. The announcement rolled through the cabin like thunder trapped in glass. Ethan Cole, the man who'd sparked the incident, slammed his hand on the armrest. "You can't be serious. We have schedules, reputations." "Reputation," Clara interrupted, voice cold as metal, "is built on how you treat the powerless when you think no one's watching." He froze. Cameras glowed like constellations across the cabin. Dozens of witnesses, all silent, all recording. The flight that had promised luxury had become a courtroom of conscience. Captain Reynolds straightened, grasping for remnants of control. "Dr. Bennett," he said carefully, "you understand grounding a flight has consequences. Connections. Cargo. Hundreds of passengers." She met his eyes. "You already grounded this flight the moment you let discrimination board before I did." Her calm wasn't submission, it was structure. It held. Sophie stepped forward, tablet trembling in her hand. "Dr. Bennett," she whispered, "the system's requesting your verification code to finalize the report." "Code Sigma 7, Clara replied. A tone sounded. "Incident logged. Flight suspended. Review pending." Ethan Cole threw his head back. "This is ridiculous. You people always make everything about race." Clara turned, slowly, deliberately. "That's what privilege sounds like when it's questioned." He wilted in silence. For once, his voice had nowhere to go. A woman with silver hair in row 3 lifted her hand timidly. "Dr. Bennett, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything earlier. I should have." Clara met her eyes. Silence protects the wrong side of history. But speaking now still matters. The woman nodded, tears shining. Around her, others shifted, some ashamed, some newly awake. Captain Reynolds placed his radio on the galley counter as if surrendering a weapon. "Operations requests your oversight until inspection arrives," he said quietly. "Then we start with honesty," Clara replied. "Tell them exactly what you said, and why you thought I didn't belong." He swallowed. "Understood." Her phone buzzed again. "Dr. Bennett," came a voice through the speaker, calm and crisp. "Legal is online. We're reviewing live footage." "Thank you, Mia," Clara said softly. "Keep the record clean. Every second matters." The cabin was silent except for breathing. Every blink, every shift in posture, every heartbeat was now documentation. Outside, the runway lights pulsed through the morning haze. Inside, truth sat in every seat. The cockpit door hissed open. The first officer stepped out, face young, unsure. "Captain," he said, "operations needs a full incident report before we can taxi." Reynolds didn't move. Clara's presence steadied the air around them. Patience, not fury, power with restraint. Ethan Cole muttered from his seat. "All this for one chair." "One chair," Clara said, eyes still forward, "represents every locked door built from the same doubt. You call it drama. I call it documentation." In the second row, Michael Grant whispered, "She's right." His voice was small, but it broke something open. The captain pressed his radio again. "Operations, confirm directive." The reply came quick and clear. "Captain Reynolds, you are to remain grounded under Dr. Bennett's supervision pending review." The words struck like verdicts. Reynolds looked at Clara, then down. "They're asking for your statement," he said. "Patch me through," she replied. The first officer connected the line. "Dr. Bennett, this is Horizon Command. We're live. Proceed when ready." Clara's tone was steady, unhurried. "This morning I boarded Flight 417 under my own name and credentials. I was told I didn't belong in the seat I purchased. I was ordered to move without verification and insulted by a fellow passenger. I remained calm, not to prove my worth, but to expose theirs. This flight isn't grounded by malfunction. It's grounded by prejudice, and that will be recorded." The voice on the radio paused, then said, "Statement received. Legal review in progress. Proceeding with compliance suspension." Applause rippled softly through the cabin, uncertain, restrained, then stronger. Sophie wiped her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't thank me," Clara said gently. "Remember this moment when silence asks for your permission." Captain Reynolds lowered himself into the jump seat, exhausted, humbled. Ethan Cole stared at Clara, searching for weakness and finding only reflection. Outside, dawn unfurled over the runway, gold streaks on wet tarmac. Inside, power had changed hands without a single raised voice. Clara stood, adjusted her blazer, and turned toward the cockpit. "You asked me to move to the back," she said quietly. "Now I'm asking you to step aside." Reynolds rose slowly, eyes lowered. "Yes, Dr. Bennett." The door to the jet bridge opened. Cold air swept in, carrying the metallic scent of morning and change. Two security officers appeared. "Dr. Clara Bennett?" one asked. She nodded. "I assume you've been briefed." "Yes, ma'am. Operations requests your supervision for the inspection." "Then let's begin with truth," she said. Behind her, passengers watched, phones still raised, but now reverent. "This delay," Clara told them, "is not caused by weather or maintenance. It's caused by a system that sometimes forgets who built it. Today, that memory is landing." A murmur spread, soft, human, shaken. Sophie stepped closer. "Dr. Bennett," she said, voice trembling. "When Mr. Cole confronted you, I froze. I was afraid to lose my job." Clara nodded gently. "Fear is the currency that keeps bias alive. You're breaking that chain now." One officer cleared his throat. "Dr. Bennett, corporate requests permission to release crew logs." "Authorize it," she said. "Transparency isn't optional." Ethan Cole emerged from the aisle, face pale. "Dr. Bennett," he stammered. "I didn't mean." "You meant it," she said, voice low but unyielding. "You just didn't expect consequences." He looked down. "I'll apologize publicly." "Don't apologize for being seen," Clara said. "Apologize for what you chose to see." The captain approached again, voice subdued. "Dr. Bennett, operations is ready to release the passengers." "Let them go," she said. "But make sure they know why they're walking off this plane later than expected." Sophie's eyes brimmed as she handed over a tablet. "Biometric confirmation, Dr. Bennett." Clara pressed her thumb to the scanner. A chime echoed. "Incident sealed. Records verified." Captain Reynolds exhaled. "Dr. Bennett, I want to apologize." She looked at him steadily. "Apologies are noise without action. Choose accountability." He nodded once. "Action. Then start by remembering this," she said. "Respect isn't regulation. It's instinct." Outside, the compliance team arrived, cameras flashing across the jet bridge like flashes of truth. A voice came through the intercom. "Dr. Bennett, this is Director Patel, Horizon Command. We're live. The footage is trending. Public sentiment supports your decision." Clara didn't smile. "Support doesn't fix what caused it. I want full policy review, bias retraining, and internal broadcast of this incident. Not to punish, but to educate." "Understood," Patel replied. Captain Reynolds blinked, the reality of her authority finally settling. "This aircraft will fly again," Clara said, "but not until everyone on board understands what dignity sounds like at 30,000 feet." She turned toward the exit, the morning light cutting across her face. Ethan Cole called after her softly. "Is this the end of Flight 417? Clara paused, then looked back. "No, it's the beginning. We didn't ground a plane, We grounded a lie. The passengers filed out quietly, carrying phones full of proof and hearts full of reckoning. The woman with silver hair stopped beside Clara. You reminded me that silence is violence, she whispered. It only becomes violence when we choose it, Clara said gently. Ethan Cole lingered last, voice stripped bare. I was wrong. Clara's tone was firm, but not cruel. The world doesn't change when we confess guilt. It changes when we stop repeating it. She stepped off the jet bridge into the terminal, where light and noise collided. Reporters shouting, cameras flashing, questions flying. Dr. Bennett, someone called. Millions are watching. What's your message? Clara turned, her expression calm, her words deliberate. Let them watch. Truth doesn't need performance. It needs proof. Another asked, what now for Horizon Aviation? She glanced toward the tarmac, where the grounded aircraft gleamed beneath the morning sun. Now, she said softly, we rebuild the sky. Every flight that leaves this runway will carry proof that silence lost. She walked toward the terminal exit. Her phone buzzed with headlines she didn't need to read. The story was already airborne. Her final words lingered, meant for every listener, every lens, every conscience finally awake. I wasn't fighting for a seat. I was fighting for respect. And that journey never lands.